Betrayal, Collapse. After 2.5 weeks of war against one of the most powerful PvP groups in Minecraft history, the Ferrymen, the world of Rathnir was left ravaged. Empires were in dire straits, and those who had attempted to fight back against the Ferrymen were left in shambles. There were rumours circulating that the Ferrymen might even try to take over the world, until one day, the Ferrymen just disappeared. What they left behind was a smouldering wreck left to heal, beginning a chain of events that would lead up to one of the largest wars in Minecraft history. Before the Ferrymen War came to a close, the largest three nations that partook in the fighting were the Empire of Bardonia, the Imperial Archonate of Viodoxa, and the Second Empire of Uldarash. When the war did finally come to a close, the three split apart as their leaders expected, with each one emerging from the conflict in a unique state. Bardonia was the nation that assembled the coalition to combat against the Ferrymen, and was the largest empire in Rathnir at the time, vassalizing nations from across the world. During the Battle of Ferrymen Fort, Uni, the Chancellor of Bardonia, was killed, and subsequently the empire completely collapsed, losing over 60% of its territory overnight. The core provinces of Uldarash and Auron's Peak joined Bardonia's vassals during this collapse, seeking security from Uldarash. The new Emperor Jaqua allowed this to happen, and as a result he was couped during his inauguration ceremony by Mobius, who proclaimed the Second Empire of Bardonia. While Uldarash rejoined the fold, the majority of its former vassals did not, and Bardonian foreign policy would be focused from that point forward on regaining the lost territories. Viodoxa, despite being ground zero for the Ferryman invasion, was far better off than its northern ally. While gaining territory in its Plagos colonies and from the former Empire of Charon in Sparwood Minor, the nation was deeply destabilized by the events that occurred during the war, and would forever leave a stain on Viodoxa and Archon Valemux-Spiegel's reputations. Uldarash changed very little during the Ferrymen War. Despite the collapse of Bardonia, Uldarash's borders changed very little, and internally little changed. Following the war, however, Uldarash pursued a foreign policy strategy which focused on the south, aligning itself with Viodoxa and helping to found the Southern Rathnir Defense Accords. The rest of Rathnir was relatively unaffected by the events of the Ferrymen War, with certain nations such as the Kingdom of Kostuko and Owendor collapsing for unrelated reasons. However, following the collapse of Bardonia and the collapse of Andorn a day later, a new event consumed political discussion, and that was the Scramble for Andorn. Following Jaqua's release of all Bardonian holdings, Andorn would collapse internally and divide itself along provincial boundaries. And despite initial attempts to peacefully divide the region between Heli, Withamovia, and Savras, a combined effort of Savras and Ryzan disputing the entire region would result in a tense stalemate over who would get the territories. The Withamovians, initially backed by the Ferrymen, sought the support of Bardonia, who provided support to their claims in return for returning to the fold. Heli eventually receded their claims to the region, leaving the three nations to cement their claims over the area. Ryzan seized territories just to their north, however also receded their claims the following day as the Josbar administration was replaced by the Avaleski administration, which sought different foreign policy aims to the irredentist nature of the previous government. It would not be until the Holy Siltor Empire, Savras' loose confederation of states, joined Bardonia that Ryzan would once again lay claim to the region in an effort to combat Bardonian expansionism. This back and forth in the region would finally come to an end on May 2nd, with Ryzan receding their claims once more, and Bardonia focusing elsewhere. Far away in the northeast, on the continent of Plagos, sat the nation of Plagatea. Now, while Plagatea is infamous now, it was not nearly as popular during this time. It was just sort of that one nation that everyone just seemed to forget despite completely dominating a continent for nearly its entire existence. However, when a member of the popular 2B2T group, DonFuer, settled in the Viodoxan colonial possessions in Plagos, they would begin a series of events that are nowadays known as the DonFuer Crisis. The leader of DonFuer, Deloaded, began a rebellion alongside a few other mayors in the region, including players Adino and JJ Rex, against the Viodoxan colonial administrators in Plagos, the Austerium Plagosi Trading Company. Tensions were high, as the potential of a war between DonFuer and the Plegosi nations drew nearer and nearer. However, thanks to their leader Deloaded's negotiation skills, settlements would be reached in regards to the territory, with 80k in gold being handed to Viodoxa and 50k in gold to Plagatea. However, some of the mayors, mainly the aforementioned JJ Rex, would turn on DonFuer and begin to rebel against them, founding the nation of Bardonia. This, on top of high tensions with Plagatea, who saw DonFuer as rightful Plagatean territory, would eventually become too much for the building group, who signed away the rights to their land to Uldarash on the 16th of May, and fled to Eldom, for which they would remain for the rest of their days on the server. The region readopted its original name of Nova Regna under Uldarashi administration. However, the Plagadonian rebellion never died. This isn't the end of the crises in Plagos during this era, so don't worry, we'll return to Nova Regna in the future. For now though, word began to circulate around Siltor and the world that the prophecy foretold in Bardonian folklore and legend was about to become fulfilled. The legends of Bardonia's largest religion, Dandalism, state that the last of the prophets of the Five Paths, that had survived slaughter after slaughter at the hands of the Prophet of the Forbidden Path and the Empire of Uldarash during the Golden War, would return to bring Bardonia down the path of prosperity when the nation was in dire straits, and bring a new empire that will restore Bardonian glory and spread the seeds of the dandelions across Rathnir. Well, on June 11th, 2021, Emperor Mobius would be greeted by a Dandalist being, proclaiming himself to be the prophet of the path of prosperity. Mobius promptly resigned from his position as emperor, and allowed the prophet to ascend to the role of emperor, proclaiming the Third Empire of Bardonia, and a new era of glory that will be looked back on by Bardonians for generations to come. These events all really took place on the Stoneworks Minecraft server between April 22nd and June 11th of 2021. The IP is on screen right now, and will be linked in the description down below. This is the first of 3 parts, so if you like what you see and would like to see more, please leave a like and subscribe to quench the YouTube algorithm's thirst for clicks. If you have any insightful info I might have missed in this video, please comment down below and I would greatly appreciate it. This video is very much a test for me after a year of not posting, so I greatly appreciate the support so I can make more videos like these in the future. I've been Rex, goodbye for now.